And here's the thing about this sermon is, I got to this point where the next point here was, I was going to say practice makes perfect, and instead I decided to go with presence makes perfect. I don't want this to be a prescription from your doctor saying you should eat more kale. I don't want to be your dentist right now telling you need to floss. I don't want to be your family member saying it's time to give up smoking. I don't want to be somebody who says it's time to start working out or to cut out red meat. The Lord's not telling you to cut out red meat. I don't want to give you a prescription that puts more pressure on you, or that says you should go do more stuff, or you should feel bad about not doing stuff, or that doing more stuff is how we get God to. That's not what we're saying. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to read your Bible, and I want you to spend time with God, but I'm not giving you a prescription that says go eat more kale so that you can live for 2 more years. That's not the point of this. And I was trying to think of how do we illustrate this. And here's the best example I could come up with. I have a 5-year-old, and we're about to send him to kindergarten. And I'm terrified. I'll just be perfectly honest and throw it out there. This kid has been sheltered. He's lived in our household where we have a Christian worldview. His mom has stayed home and raised him. He's been to a Christian preschool where, we trusted all the people that were in his life. He's been part of this church. He's been here 3 services a weekend for his entire life. If you look at the check-in system that we have downstairs, he's the most checked-in person in the entire church. More than Darla and Tracy. I'm just saying, he doesn't take vacations, okay? And I had to send this kid into an environment that I can't control next year. And you should know something about my son. He is an extrovert. He's this sweet, loving kid. If any of you have ever been around him, he just talks your ear off. He has this ability to just go to any person, no matter where we are, and start a conversation with them. It's amazing. Most adults would kill for some of the skills that this child has. He'll go to a park and grab all the kids at the park and get them together and get them playing together. And if there's a kid off by themselves, he'll go over and physically drag them into the circle. He's a connector. He's an extrovert. He's sensitive. And so my fear is I'm going to send him to school and all this stuff's going to get beat out of him. That he's going to experience, rejection. He's going to come into contact with worldviews that aren't the same as his. That he's going to every day go in and all of a sudden, he's not going to be able to talk to everyone, or he's going to get that part of his personality sort of beat out of him. And more than anything else, I want to see what God's going to do with some of these amazing traits this kid has. And so I'm worried. I'm afraid to send him into an environment that I can't control. But what's amazing about this, as me and my wife started to talk about this, is that, every day I'm going to send him to this school, and I can't control what happens to him during the day. But every night he comes back home to us. And every night we get to rebuild him. And we get to remind him who he is. We get to remind him what's true. We get to unravel any of the questions that he has with the world. We get to really honestly invest and spend time with him, rebuilding him, reminding him who he is, and reminding him what's true so we can send him back out into the world the next day. And I'm not going to let those things get beat out of him. And here's the thing. Every single day when we come in from the world, we have a God who's sitting right there, who's in love with us, who talks about us the way I just talked about my 5-year-old son, who says, I love her. She has the quirkiest personality, and she's got these amazing gifts, and I created her like this. Or this guy has no idea what his capabilities are, and if he would just listen to my spirit, he would change the entire world. And every day God is sitting there, and he's saying, spend some time in my presence. Come and be with me. Let me rebuild you. Let me remind you what's true. Let me remind you who you are, so that way tomorrow I can send you back out into a dark world where you can be a bright light. Every day, God is waiting to spend time. And it's presence that makes perfect. It's being in his presence. Being in his presence means getting into his word. It means spending time with him. It means listening to him. It means being honest in prayer with him. It's in those moments that no one sees that prepare us for what we can't see coming. I'm not telling you go eat more kale or check off the reading plan or, make sure you spend enough time in prayer. I'm telling you to get with God every day. Get in his word, spend time in his presence, open up your heart and your life to him, and allow him to rebuild you every single day to send you back out into a dark world.